all the data for Swiss, which is a lot of work. They've taken that on this year to really help us out. So she's going to talk about things that we need to make sure we're doing consistently so that we can become right.
So what I'm passing around are just slides, because I actually created a PowerPoint, but obviously we can't do that here. And I do want to apologize because lower school, you guys actually already heard a lot of this from when we met before in one of our meetings. So just so it's clear. So upper school staff. I know some of you guys are still writing on these ODRs. These actually no longer exist with Hartford Public Schools. So if you have the legal size ones, can you guys just like get rid of them? We're starting to use, these are the new ones, which a lot of you guys already seen. So they have like the 4 sheets instead of the 3. So the first one, things to remember. The person making the referral, I've been getting a lot of referrals with either just a signature, and I can't read who it's from, or just like a printed name. And since it is a legal document, I need your signature on it. So everyone can make sure they print and then they sign the ODR. And your role in the school. And then incident time and date. Incident time and date is different than the date that you're going to put on the top of the referral. I'm sorry, in the back I gave you guys examples of them, so you guys know the document. Because you do have 24 hours to complete it, 24 business hours to complete it. So let's say it's a Friday, and then the incident happened on a Friday, and you complete it 6 a.m. on Monday. The date that you're completing it is different than the incident. So that's why it asks twice. Adding any motivations in the additional incident/behavior information section is really important. It doesn't have that on the actual referral, but that's one of the questions in the Swiss program. So when we go in, they'll ask me, were there any motivations, like attention from a peer or avoiding a task? It's really important if you guys can just add that in there so that I can put that into the data system. So that way, if we see a consistent pattern, then obviously there's something going on with the child that maybe Ms. Perry, myself, Ms. Monroe, any of the other special education or support staff needs to know. So the next one is incident information section. Again, it just says, make sure you add the date and time of the event. Please be as accurate as possible. I know a lot of people just leave it blank because they don't remember what time it really happened. They just don't have it in the afternoon. If you just put an accurate time, that's good enough. Was it at a school-sponsored activity? Any of our games? All school, I know there was an incident at all school. That's good if you just put that in there and you just check off that it was a school-sponsored event. There's a typo in there. I meant from your knowledge. So from your knowledge, has this child received a previous ODR from you? So is this a child that you've given several ODRs? A lot of us know that there are students here that get one every single class, every single day, because they just don't know how to get their answer. So you would just check off yes or no, and then an estimate number, because it does ask you. Incident type. So select the choices that are related only to this incident. So I received ODRs where they'll have, the child skipped my class, later on that day they skipped, something else, I don't know, academic center or seminar, and then, I can't have too many incidences in one because I need to try to put in everything that goes on. The sample referral that I put in, I tried putting in, like there was several things going on to show as an example. Like if, all school incident happens and they skip their class, you're not going to put all of that in there. Okay? So there's also an example in the slide. Drugs, alcohol, weapons section, so that's necessary to complete. Obviously just complete that. Specific location. So here we need to know, especially if there's like a fight or something was found, and that's going to go away with them, and to avoid the chaos with courts, everything needs to be factual. A, student B, but when you are speaking with Mr. Fulton or Mr. McGancy or any of the administrators, you want want to let them know what student, was involved. The teacher actions prior to the referral. So here, it's really important that we try to put in what strategies did you guys already try prior to taking them out of your class. So what do you guys try? 10-minute breaks outside, 3 strikes, you're out. You do not want to put in there, they were outside of the classroom the entire period, because that is illegal. A student cannot be outside for the entire 90 minutes. So you need to put in there what other strategies did you try before the situation continued to get escalated. And the sanction information is only to be completed by an administrator. So that should be the consequence. And this is if they need to be taken out to go see, one of our deans or an administrator. Are there any questions so far? So the completion procedure. So you will keep, when you complete an ODR, you will keep the white copy. So let's say I completed this one. I keep this one for my record. I send this back to Dean Fulton, Dean Vigansky, Dean Ferguson, or Dean Reddick. So you just send it to one of the administrators. They will complete the top yellow sheet. Then they will keep that for their file. And then what gets entered is the pink, and that's what goes into the child's cume. And a lot of you guys have noticed you guys got the gold sheet back, because that way you guys know what happened after. So it's more for follow-up for you guys. All advisors will also be receiving a scanned copy of the pink one. So that way when conversations happen with the families, they can say, oh, I noticed that John Doe's been having an issue in Ms. Horan's class. Do you know what's going on? Has he said anything? Or why has he been skipping that class? That type of stuff. So we're trying to open communication with our parents and just make sure that they're aware of everything so that when it does come to the point where the child can't come back, we don't hear the parents saying, well, I didn't know. A lot of us know that happens. So do not throw away any ODRs that you get back. You want to keep a file for them in a manila folder. If you're leaving the school for whatever reason, then we'll figure out what we're going to do with all of those files. But do not throw them away, shred them, or anything, because they are legal documents, and we can get in trouble, if we're just throwing those away, because that's like evidence to a situation that occurred. Every ODR. So these are just like small tips. Yes.
You want them locked up too. You don't want them in your desk where other students can get them.
Exactly. So I know a lot of you guys sit in like the bullpen, and there's like the drawers on the bottom. If you guys just keep like a manila folder, thank you, W. You can keep a manila folder in there, just ODRs, and just slide them in there. If you want to staple your white copy and your gold copy, that's cool too. But you guys will all get them back from me. So just some tips. Every ODR is filed in the child's queue. So, just remember that as you're writing all these ODRs, because the child can't stay still. So it travels with them every single school that they go to. The queue files can be requested by the court, so appropriate language is really important. Detail is very important. And the referral needs to be completed within 24 hours of the incident of the situation that occurred. And then when a student sent an administrator, it's basically stating that it's beyond your capabilities as a teacher to deal with a student. So when you're sending a student out and you're saying, go down to see Dean Fulton, you're basically saying to the student that I just can't handle you right now, just go. So just so that you guys can be aware of that. That's pretty much it. Are there any questions?
You wanted people to know they have to use what?
Yes, I'm sorry. Do not use a gel pen. I know this may sound like reason why. Like those. This might sound really silly, but it needs to be like a ballpoint pen. Why? Because when I get them back, they look empty to me. So if it's on a gel pen, it'll only write on the first copy. For some reason, gel pen doesn't go through the carbon copies.
Double check.
Yes, please. Just double check that it's going through, or that your pen actually writes all the way through. Because I know some of you guys are probably saying like, okay, I just got this back, it looks totally blank. Because as it goes through, it won't write all the way. It's not like, just FYI.
don't you reverse the order?
Yes?
Yes.
May I just make a suggestion that if the child is a special ed student or 504 or something like that, that I get a copy?
Yeah.
So, or that all of us get a copy so we can put it in our folders when we have meetings. Sometimes we just don't know that they exist.
And that actually, thank you for reminding me, in the Swiss program, it asks that question. Is a student a special education student, or do they have a 504? So, you know, a lot of times when we do click that, I have to check with you anyways. So I can definitely send you